Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make this easy ribbed ear warmer. I think it turned out real nice. It's made real heavy. I mean, it's made real good, and actually for really cheap. So you're going to need a couple buttons, and then I use this Lion Brand Hometown USA, which is a bulky, chunky yarn, and it's 100% acrylic. And this skein had 81 yards in it, and I just used the whole skein almost. So just one skein, and I think this skein was only like $3 at Walmart. So it makes a really nice looking, I think, Christmas present. Really made really well for really cheap. And the color I used is Peacock, but I'm going to actually show you with a different color because this is kind of dark. And then I used a size K, which is a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. Now I already got my big part done, so excuse me, I'm sorry, I have a cold, so I'm kind of hoarse a little bit, but so bear with me. I already got my big part done, but I started with the chain of 55, so I'm going to show you on a little bit smaller of a scale, but it's going to be the same thing. So you want to start with a chain of 55, but if you want to make it for like a child or something, you can make the chain any size that you want to fit around your head or the person's head you're making it for. Just make it overlap about an inch or two, inch and a half, maybe, something like that. So you can see that it has the overlap for the buttons here. I'm sorry that it's so dark, but overlap about an inch and a half or two your chain, wrap it around and then overlap it. The chain just needs to be done in a multiple of 2, and then you add 3 more, and then that'll make it work out okay. So, but for mine, which is probably much any woman's size, I made a, it's adjustable too, so it'd probably even fit a teenager, or my daughter's 12, I'm sure it'll fit her too, because I can make it, you can unbutton these, and you can make it button up with these holes right here to make it smaller. So if you want to start with a chain of 55 like me, that's probably going to work for most people, unless you're wanting it for like a little baby. But so I'm going to show you on a smaller scale. Once you get your chain made, we want to go ahead and we're going to do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. Remember, we never count the one that's on our hook. So in the 4th stitch, we're going to double crochet, and now all we're going to do is 1 double crochet in every single stitch for the length of the chain, just like this. Okay, when you make it to the end, now we're going to start our ribbing. So we're going to start by doing a chain of 2, and that chain of 2 is going to count as a half double crochet, and we're going to turn our work. Now we're going to do a front post double crochet around this next stitch. So what it is, it's just a double crochet, but we're working it around the post of the stitch and not the top. So we're just going to yarn over and go right around the post like that, and then you just finish out your double crochet. So they're really easy, like that. So that's a front post double. Now we're going to go to the next stitch, which is right here, and we're actually going to do a half double in the top of the stitch, just a half double. So we're going to yarn over and just go right through the top and half double. Now we're going to go to the next stitch, and we're going to do front post double crochet. So we're going to yarn over and go around the entire post, just like that, and then we're going to do our double, like that. Now the next stitch is going to get a half double in the top of the stitch. So right here, I'm just going to yarn over and go through the top and half double crochet, like that. The next stitch is going to be a front post double. So yarn over, go around the post, and then finish out your double. The next stitch is going to be a half double in the top of the stitch. And we're going to do this, repeat this pattern all the way to the end. And the more rows you get, the more you'll start to see the ribbing show up. So my next one is going to be a double crochet around the post. And then a half double in the next. And then a double crochet around the post. And you go ahead and finish it for the length of your chain. Remember, I did mine shorter, so I'm already at the end. But when you're at the end, I just did a front post double crochet. You'll have this little chain here left. You want to go ahead and do a half double in to the top stitch of that chain. Just like that. So that's what it starts to look like. Now again, we're gonna, we're gonna chain 2 and turn. Chain 2 and turn. Now we're gonna be doing basically the same pattern, but this time instead of doing front post double crochet, we're gonna be doing back post double crochet. So it's the same thing, but we're gonna be working it on the back side, so our posts always line up. So what we're going to do is yarn over and go around this post, but from the back way like I am. You can see if you flip your work over, just go around the post, but you're doing it from the back side. And then you just go ahead and do your double. It's a little awkward. It's a little more awkward than the front post double, but once you get it, it'll be just fine. And then we're going to go to the next stitch, which is the half double, and we're going to half double on top of it. So right here, see this half double crochet? Go right in the top of it and half double crochet again. Now the next stitch is going to be the back post double crochet. So if you flip your work over, you can see the post here, and that's the post that you want to go around. So you yarn over, flip your work over, and go right around that post, and then do your double. Like that. Now the next stitch is just going to be a half double crochet in top of the next stitch. So yarn over and half double. Here's the half double from the previous round. Just want to go right in the top of it and half double crochet. And now on the next one, flip it over, we're going to double crochet around this post right here. Yarn over, kind of flip your work, and go right around the post. Like I said, it's a little awkward, but you'll get the hang of it. And then double crochet. And then the next stitch, you want to half double crochet in the top of the previous half double crochet. Like that. Half or double crochet around the post of the next stitch right here. And then half double in the top of the next stitch. And you just want to repeat this to the end. And I'm almost to the end because I did mine smaller, but I got this post right here to go around and double crochet around the post. And then when you get to the end, you'll have this chain 2. Go ahead and half double crochet into the top of that chain 2. Like that. And when you turn it over, you can see that your posts are lining up. And that's what you want. So all it is now is just a repeat of those 2 rows. So you're going to chain 2 again and turn. And since we're on the front side, we'll be working front post double crochet again. So again, we're going to start by doing a double crochet around this first post, just like we did before, and then a half double crochet into the top of this half double crochet, and then double crochet around the post of the next stitch, half double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And then we're just going to keep repeating. These are the last 2 rows that we did. So every time the posts are facing you, like they are now, we do front post double crochets. But when we flip it over, in order to make the post line up, we have to work the post, our double crochets around the back side of the post. So it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. And you don't have to do too many rows. I did a total of 5 rows. But you can actually do more if you want. Okay, after you get your piece as tall as you want it, and I did the 5 rows, but you can do more. It's however thick you want it, actually. Now I'm going to go around the whole piece with single crochet. So I just ended here with my half double. Now I'm just going to start with a chain 1, and now I'm going to work my way down the side, putting a single crochet in every stitch. And down the side here, it's going to be hard to see where they're really supposed to go, so I kind of just evenly space out single crochets, kind of like this. It'll be a lot easier to see when you get around to the other side. And that's kind of cleaning up the edges a little bit, making it look nicer and neater. See, this is a really easy project. Pretty cheap. Be a cheap Christmas present too, since it only takes one of these skeins of yarn. Now what I'm going to do when I get in the corners though, is I'm going to put 3 single crochets in the corner. That way it makes a nice round corner. So just go ahead and put, let me find my corner stitch. Put 3 in the corner. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to continue around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. And you see that made the corner really nice. If you were just going to put 1 in it, it would have been kind of, the corner kind of would have been flipped up and stuff. But since we put 3, it's going to lay nice and flat. Now I'm just going to keep working my way around my whole piece, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch, except for the corners. Each of the 4 corners, I'm going to put 3. It's just like that. So I'm going to keep going all the way around, 3 in the corners, until I get back to the beginning. And don't forget to put 3 in your beginning one. So I'll meet you back up over here. Okay, I made it back to the beginning, and I put 3 single crochets in my last stitch here. And now what you want to do is just slip stitch over here into the very first single crochet, like that. Pull up, and then we can clip this off and hide that tail. Just sew that tail in. So that's what we got so far, and we're done pretty much with the crochet part and everything. Now all we have to do is sew some buttons on. You can use any buttons that you want, and the way you sew them on is I'm just going to use a regular thread and needle. If you want to use yarn, you can. This yarn is so thick though, it's not going to work for my buttonholes, so I have to use regular thread. If you only want to use 1 button, that's fine, but it's completely up to you. And you could sew it on either side that you want, just depending on, you know, what way you want it to wrap on your head. But I'm going to sew them on here, and then we'll be using the holes from the other side as the buttonholes. That way it's adjustable because there's holes all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and get these sewed on with the regular thread and needle, just like you would sew on a normal button. And I'm going to hide these tails. Okay, once you get done with your buttons, all you got to do is just button it up to the other side. And it's adjustable. Like I said, you can use these holes here for whatever size you want. But that's it. I think it turned out cute. Nice little ear warmer. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to come check me out on Facebook, where you can post all your crochet items on there. I'd really like to see them. And until next time, have a good day.